showing the demonstration. In a sense, actually, we are into the forward system where we identified the various physical system, I should say various manufacturing system, in which we are in the process of capturing the information. It means we are identified the some of the parameters, and then we are in the process of capturing the information through that particular physical system. This physical system, for example, conventional environmental condition that we are going to take into the case. For example, then there is a say furnace. So irrespective of the any particular manufacturing system or physical system, the first important point or a most critical point is to identify the parameters that we want to capture, and based on that we are going to select the sensor, and from the sensor we need to work out onto the another aspect, that the frequency of the data acquisitions. So whether we want to have a data per second, per minute, per hour, or per day, or even a say per week. So depends on to the our frequency, we will identify the most suitable microcontroller for that, which is also comprised of the memory device and the processor. So we are going to utilize the few of the standard microcontroller as we have discussed, and for our case right now we are mainly focused on to the Arduino board, right? Or Arduino, or what we can say ESP32, or related to that, right? We will also discuss the case studies onto the Raspberry Pi, where actually we will try to connect the more number of parameters into the one microcontroller. So to proceed further, actually what we have discussed as a part of cyber physical system, we were shown the demonstration of mainly three case studies. The first case study was related to process monitoring through serial monitor, then the process monitoring through Wi-Fi. uh, Case 2, temperature humidity. The third case, sorry, there is a typo error in that, but case 3 will be related to higher temperature, although we have not uh, fitted that sensor to the furnace or something like that, but we are going to utilize the specific sensor or say thermocouple for that. So into the previous session, we previous 2-3 sessions actually we went through the demonstration of it. So in that case, we have discussed this kind of code which is related to temperature humidity for serial monitor, as well as this is for the Wi-Fi module. I'm very happy that some of you have already received the board and related stuff, and try to do the stuff by your own. And it is also good to know that while implementing that, you might getting the some kind of errors, and that will actually strengthen the knowledge related to implementation, how to go into that detail, right? So today actually again we will discuss the demonstration based on to the K-type thermocouple. So now actually K-type thermocouple we are going to stream to the cloud ThingSpeak. So I hope many of you already installed the ThingSpeak and ThingView as far as your device is concerned, whether it is Android or iOS. Just after 2-3 minutes, I'm going to forward the one API key. So when you are actually going to start your Android device, and it will ask you to add the some kind of channel. So through this API key, you will be able to see the data streaming in your own device, uh, while the sensors and all these things available at our lab located in Rajkot. So again today, one of my associate Mahek Rathod is with me. So today overall plan of the demonstration is that first we will connect the K-type thermocouple through Wi-Fi module, and we'll try to stream the data to the cloud. And then So far we have discussed the individual sensor. So now we are going to combine the two sensors, like say DHT11 and K-type thermocouple in one board, so that actually you will come to know that how the slightly complexity is going to increase, how the complexity is increased into that, and slowly by slowly we'll try to increase the more number of sensors into it. So I think one of you have already taken this kind of physical system as a part of your case study, say combining the environmental as well as the K-type thermocouple. So this is going to be the best demonstration for you. And then actually, if time permits, next Sunday again we will have some kind of demonstration where still more number of sensors will be added if possible. Otherwise, we'll have a break of 1 or 2 lecture as far as the demonstration is concerned, and then meanwhile we will discuss if the data is going to be collected, how this data will be further utilized, right, in terms of monitoring. That purpose you have already seen. So next purpose we will discuss the we'll try to discuss the prediction purpose and then the data analytics. First of all, you should also understand how the pre-processing of the data happens, and we have also prepared the one cloud-based prediction engine. It means just you need to upload your data in a specific format. More precisely, it will be into the spreadsheet. So I will give you a link of that. If you are that will be probably that demonstration will be in the next after 2-3 lectures. So at least next 2 lecture I will discuss about that, how the data will be handled as far as the prediction, as far as the analytics is concerned, and then we'll have a demonstration on that how the prediction can be happen through cloud. So that system we have already developed at our end. So meanwhile you are having a 10-15 days with you, so you can start to collect the data, dump the data into the Excel sheet. I will share the specific format in which you just need to collect the data, and then you are supposed to upload it onto the cloud through web-based tool, and it will give you a prediction, right? The entire tool is built up onto the fundamentals of neural network. So onto the back end, the neural network is working, and you will have a demonstration of it. So today, again reminding you, we'll discuss the case study on K-type thermocouple with Wi-Fi, and then into the second half of the demonstration, we'll combine the K-type thermocouple with DHT11, and the last 5-10 minutes we will discuss the, or we'll try to sort it out, the error what you are getting into the your own working, right? So this is the overall flow of the today's session, how we will go. So now actually for the demonstration I am stopping the presentation from my side, right, and request Mahek to start the demonstration from his end, right? Yeah, Mahek, thank you.
Hello everyone. So we'll be starting from
Audible.
showing you. Yes, is it audible?
Yeah, it is clearly audible. No problem.
Okay. Okay. So first of all, we'll start from showing you how the K-type thermocouple and the MAX module looks like in a real hand. Okay. This is a K-type thermocouple. It is basically a wire just coupled up with one of the pins that you can fit inside one of your furnace or any particular machine where you have to fetch the data. Also, uh, this type of module is called MAX module. See, as we have shared a picture of this module, there are 5 pins available on this module. Also, there are 2 bigger pins, such as they looks like AC pins. See, we have connected our K-type thermocouple with this MAX module. I have connected this plus sign with red wire and this minus sign with this blue wire. Okay, so this is how the assembly of this max module and this max module looks like. Okay, and then actually we'll just connect it with our own ESP32. I have I have put it inside this ESP32 board so that you can see in this camera. And now I will share my screen so that how am I coding, you can see over there. This particular code we have written in previous session, so I will start it from over here, and I will add the modules of Wi-Fi from here onwards. So we'll first include this library module. We'll just put it over there because the importation of the library. Then actually I will just put Wi-Fi library from over there. I'm just putting it from DHT11 Wi-Fi from DHT11 Wi-Fi code to our K-type serial code. First I have copy and pasted over here the Wi-Fi library, and then I have copy and pasted over here this string, API key, constant character, and Wi-Fi client. So nothing new, just I have copy pasted from DHT11 Wi-Fi modules from DHT11 code to K-type serial code. Okay. Then we'll start the Wi-Fi. We'll put it in void setup section. So it is basically our copy and paste from void setup of DHT11 to K-type thermocouple. And then this bigger font. In this loop, I have pasted from DHT because as you can see H and T. So first I will create a function called T. Float. It will be in a decimal places. So float T equals to this particular function. And since this DHT had two parameters, we were checking for two. So I will remove this humidity. Also, I will remove from the below point humidity. And I have changed from field 2 to field 1 only the string T. I have created one temperature monitoring channel from my end, and if you have opened your theme view, you can see it has no data. It is called temperature monitoring. It is fourth channel, and I'm just putting my API key from there to here. We'll put my API key over here, and SSID and passwords are same. I haven't changed it. So basically, this is the function how we can put Wi-Fi from one port to another, and accordingly we can change the data regarding that. So I'll connect K-type thermocouple over my breadboard. Firstly, I'll put it over here in the middle. It will be better if you will keep your ESP module at one of the ends, because when you are connecting via this USB cable, you have to insert these modules, and sometimes while connecting you may interrupt these jumper wires from when they are connected from one of the ends. If you have placed it from here, and you can disrupt this type of jumper wire if you have put it somewhere over here. So it will be better practice to keep your ESP32 at one of the ends so that you can connect it very easily. I have put it over here, over there, and then I will connect the jumper wires. I will use red for the ground, sorry, red for the VCC, which is voltage. I'm using this horizontal strips so that I have to utilize less pins of my ESP32, because you can common out all those pins. I'm using black wire for ground. And then these 3 pins particularly. Yeah. So they are pin number 13, 14 and 12. For the SO we are using 13 number, for CS we are using 14, and for the CLK we are using 12. I'll connect this SO pin with pin number 13. 1, 2, 5, that pin is 5th. Then I'll connect CS at 14 and CLK at 12. I have connected it with this Wi-Fi. And I will connect, as they are connected in parallel, I can connect it over here. I'm connecting this red wire at the horizontal strip. Okay. I have inserted over here, as you can see, the black one is in parallel with this brown pin, and the red one is in parallel with this red pin. And I will connect red wire at the 5-volt first pin, and I will connect it with ground over here. Okay. So all the 5 pins of my MEX modules are connected with ESP32. We'll try to upload it. This is our code. I have pasted this serial API key. Sorry, ThingSpeak API key. We'll upload. The sketch is being compiled. Let me check. Okay, let me just connect it with my ESP32. The pin turns on. The board is selected as COM5. Okay, so Wi-Fi has been connected. Let me just share the screen of serial monitor. As you can see, this is the screen of serial monitor, and data is coming perfectly. The temperature is 36, 35 around. As we know that the range of this K-type thermocouple is much bigger than DHT11, so the accuracy of this data will be very less than the DHT11 sensor particularly, because the range of DHT11 is around from 0 to 50, whereas the range of K-type thermocouple is from -200 to 1400 degrees Celsius. So if we keep just as a 5% difference, it will create a bigger range over there, whereas the DHT11 5% accuracy will create just 2.5 degrees Celsius. So when we are measuring the temperature with K-type thermocouple, it will not be pretty much accurate. If the data is from, if the real value is 999, the data will be say 990 to 1010. So that will be the range of K-type thermocouple. And as we have discussed that I have created a separate API key for the same. I will just go to my
So Mahek, actually, I have shared that API key with everyone, right?
okay.
And they are also, I think they also need to have a channel ID, right? So if I have,
Yes.
you can,
That is for
okay.
temperature monitoring.
So that ID is
If
1364885, right? Okay, okay.
yes, sir.
Wait,
It is showing on the screen.
wait. So that actually API key plus some ID they can insert. So then actually they will be able to showcase that, right? Just wait a second. I am also checking from my side, so it will give a better idea.
Okay.
Yes. So now the ID is temperature monitoring. It is showing the 36.25 and the last temperature recorded is 754. Okay. Yeah, 36 is exactly showing in my screen also in my Android. So the last temperature has been taken as 754. Okay, I hope with the help of channel ID, once you actually log in into the thing view, either you can log in to or go through your API key, or you can just enter the channel ID what I have forwarded into the WhatsApp group, right? So 1364885, that is our channel ID, and it will show the temperature monitoring. So once you will go through that, it will provide the monitoring in your cell phone. Yeah, good. So I started to get the response. Thank you, Sajid, for response. Rajnikant, right? All you are getting it. So good actually that you are trying out that. So I hope everyone is also onto the same page and they also started to visualize it, how the data will be coming through Wi-Fi. Right? So K-type plus Wi-Fi is there. Earlier we have seen the first channel what I have entered was related to the DHT11. So both channel are separate out. The earlier one was DHT11. Now this is for the K-type thermocouple. So we have discussed these things separately, right? So now Mahek, actually we need to show that how the DHT11 can be combined with the K-type thermocouple. So actually there will be a three parameters now. One which is K-type thermocouple, the temperature is coming, and then from the DHT11, the temperature and humidity both are coming, right? So I think you are also ready with that, right? Are you ready with that or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Ready.
so go ahead with that.
So, so this one is our the foremost part. We are through with this. We have this our dht.h what I can say import library, and we have shared this data of humidity and temperature to our thinking server, so that and we have also visualized this in our channel also. Now I will just add uh, the code of K-type thermocouple serially to this over here. So as we know that basically every Arduino code has three sections. First one is import and definition section. Second one is setup section, and third one is this loop section. So we'll have to just copy the whole definition section from K-type thermocouple and put it over here. So I will just do that over there. I will not change the screen meanwhile, so that it will be better from both of the sides. So here is our code actually. I have kept it as a version 0. I have actually changed this API key for our own ThingSpeak API key, but I have changed it to the code that I have sent into you, so that you can easily interface it. Okay. So first we'll import the library from K-type serial to over here. I'll just do that. I have imported this Max6675 library. And define the pins. So first one, I have just imported the library called Max6675, and then I have pasted this definition of pins 13, 14, and 12. Then actually we have merged this pin with Max6675. Also, the K-type serial thermocouple setup section only has this uh, serial begin pin. So we don't have to put it over there. There are enough definition of serial.begin, we will connect it with 115.200 frequency. Then we'll create a function called float T2 because there are two temperatures which will be showcasing, which we will fetch from the environment. First one will be from DHT function, DHT sensor, and the second one will be from this K-type thermocouple. So I will just create that function and put the semicolon over there. I'll just comment it out that fetching data from type thermocouple. Okay. Now as we are fetching three data, individual data. So first one we are fetching that H from the environment, which is humidity. The second one will be T1. Actually, the T1 is from the environmental sensor called DHT, and third one will be T2, which is coming from the K-type thermocouple, and I have defined is T2. Okay, so we'll check first that uh, first one will check that are all those three datas are coming properly to us or not. Then we'll fetch the data to the server. Okay, I will just copy this and create a field 3. I will rename field 2 as T1 and field 3 as T2. Nothing to change much. So what I have done is simply first I have defined H, then I have defined T1 and then T2. We are checking this function that are all those data are coming or they are not available in the serial. So if serial or we can say in a web view, then I have created a third field over there called T2. Also, I have differentiated both of the temperatures via renaming it with T1 and T2. So basically, this will do for us. Also, I have created a separate channel for this called coupled temperature and DHT11 and MAX 6675 if you are operating this through your ThinkView. I will just replace this API key with the newer channel. And we'll upload this to our code over there.
While the code is uploading, can you click to that screen where the channel ID is mentioned?
Okay.
Have you connected the DHT11 with the node instance?
I will upload this code and then I will go through that.
Okay. So the new channel ID is 1364777. 1364777.
there was one error. It wasn't defined yet the serially. So we'll first define it over there for the serial connection. Uh, for a second, I will just stop that channel screen and I will just show you how to do it serially in over there. Okay.
Okay.
First, we'll define it. Uh, Temperature one is there, and I will just change temperature one with temperature two. Uh, I have changed it from here and here also. Okay, and also don't forget to clear out this ln, because ln anyhow creates a new line at every time we fetch the data. So we'll just try to compile this code. First, you should connect it. Yeah. So here is a channel, our own channel. You can see. Sir, please give me a heads up, and I will start connecting this DHT.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I will just connect this DHT over here. Um, I will connect this touch pin with this purple, and I will use this white because every time you don't have red in bulk. So it will be better for you because I will have a lot of jumper wires. But if you are connecting numerous sensors, you may not have red and black in a bulk. So you can connect it with anyone. Just clear with your pin diagram and all those things and connect it properly. I will connect this purple with the first channel because it is uh, voltage line, and the second one is the ground line. Okay, I'm using blue pin to connect with the signal. Okay, okay, the THT connections are proper. Now I will go again to our screen because that was not compiled very well. I'll just compile it. Okay, so we have received one of the errors, that error compiling for board ESP32 module. Sometimes it may happen that if you have connected too many pins, there are errors on the pins. So you just have to unplug this. Okay, I'll show you via this. Okay, I'll just unplug this and take it out this module and reconnect it over here separately from the circuit. So it is connected now, and then we'll start compiling again, because sometimes what happens that too many pins are connected in the circuit, there are errors connecting from both ends. There can be sensor fetching the data, also one of the compilers sending the data from our PC to the ESP32. So it may occur that the ESP32 gets confused between two signals, and it shows the error. Also, okay, so it is showing, just copy this, it is showing this error again. Create a new file. I have just created a new file. I'll just paste it, the code we have written over there, and we'll upload it. Let me save it with the name DHT11 file. Okay, so I have saved this. It started compiling. Yes, it got uploaded, done uploading. So see, there was no error. I have just copy pasted the same code from earlier code to over here. There was no change, there was no code change, there was nothing changed, but it shows the error. Sometimes it may happen. So just don't get panic with that kind of error. Sorry, sir.
Mahek, your voice is breaking actually. It is your voice is breaking actually. So probably okay.
Let me give you. I'll just connect it out over there again, as you can see from camera feed. Be careful while reconnecting. All the pins should be there where it was connected it earlier, and make sure that every pins are connected properly. There are no changes. So I have connected over there. Okay, so it got started. This was our code, and I'll just open the serial monitor. Okay, so the serially every data are being fetched from our server over there. I'll just go through to the thing view. Is it connected or not? Okay. On the things peak, every data are being fetched.
Yes, it is also showing onto the my end. 54, then 32.4 and 36.75, right?
So
Okay,
we can change
yeah,
the
data.
frequency. Can change it from 10 to 5. Also, we will
The
add
last
some of the widgets.
816, yeah.
We'll add some of the features. First one is humidity. I'll add field 1 over there, and you can get so the humidity field will be there. One, two, receiving this data, and the last one, the field 3, temperature 2, and field 3. Okay. So we are receiving this data, and you can see actual difference between temperature 1 and temperature 2. It's basically because of the accuracies of both of the sensors. One has a range of 0 to 50, and second one has a range of minus 200 to 1400 degrees Celsius in a unit sum of 1600. So it creates a bigger difference over there. I think everyone will be fetching the data on ThingView.
Yes, it is visible, right? And 53, 32.5 and 36.25.
This is how you can connect or merge two codes simultaneously. You just have to take out all the section from one code and put it into the second code where you want to merge all those codes. Just keep in mind, paste all the codes from import and definition section from one first code to the import and definition section to the second code. Setup 1 to setup 2, loop 1 to loop 2. It will be pretty easy for you that way. And
Okay, Mac, I think two things, and I will also share the code with all of you. Combine DHT11 and thermocouple. Now, actually, Mahek, actually, one or two students have attempted by their own way, right? And they are actually facing some kind of error into the code while actually they have uploaded, right? So one of the error what they have faced while connecting with the DHT11, which was related to the board at null is not available. Right? This kind of error they have received. And the second error to the same DHT dot H no such directory. So probably there might be some issue with
So,
their.
okay. So we'll just go through a standard operating procedure because both of the uh, errors are related to the uh, initialization of this IDE. First of all, if we are connecting any microcontroller to our PC, we'll have to connect and we'll have to select all the ports on all the modules. First, I will share that you have to connect this board and ESP32 dev module. From tools, go to board, then ESP32 Arduino, and then ESP32 dev module, and select it over there. Okay. So if you will do that, the second error, which is ESP32.h, no such file directory available, because there will be error while fetching the data. Once you have connected your directory in ESP32, there will be error if you have selected microcontroller as Arduino Uno or Arduino Mega. So just try to fetch that. Also, this dst.h no such file or directory will pop up when you haven't imported this directory. Actually, you will have to import this from over here, dst.h and add.zip library, and import it from, let me give it. Whenever you are connecting, import this library at add.zip library. And once you are imported this library, it will show that library added to your libraries, and check include library menu. If you want to check it, if it is there in your library section or not, just open this file, examples, and then scroll it down to bottom. Your library will be there. See, I have this library called DHT sensor library, and there are two example of that particular library. So you will get example alongside importing that library. So you don't have to create any newer codes. You can just use those two codes in your project or your work. You don't have to do anything else. If you are facing this issue such as dst.h is not included, then you can just import this library, or you can select proper board. Then there was this error that board at null is not available. So for that particular, you have to select this ESP32 dev module, or you can use one of those node MC32. Also, this do it ESP32 dev kit. You can use any of these three boards, because those three have a similar kind of architecture in terms of node MCU. So it will be advisable to use do it ESP32 dev kit, and ESP32 dev module. Also, if you have selected the board, then please check that you have selected proper serial port. If you haven't selected the serial port, just click on this serial port. I have actually 3 ports connected with my microcontrollers, so they are showing 3 individual ports. There will be ports in your such as COM5 and COM6, COM7. So just connect it over there. If you have connected only single microcontroller, you will get only one port over there, and just connect it over there. Okay. And other things, if you haven't selected any um, boards, then you will have to put this ESP ESP library over there in preferences. Just go from file preferences and put this ESP code. You will have to find this. You will have to search in on Google how to add ESP32 in Arduino IDE. You will get first website or first web page on your list, and there will be this .json uh, a link over there, and you will have to put it over there or here, and you will get these boards in your board manager. Actually, you will have to download it. We have gone through this exercise in previous uh, lectures. So if any of such errors are popped up, you will have to do that. If the problem still persists, disconnect all the circuit and connect the ESP microcontroller, any of microcontroller you are using with PC only. There should be no wiring attached to it, and just upload it over there. If you are facing the same error that there are no ports available, or error compiling for this particular controller, then just copy whole code, create a new file, and paste it over there. Select select the port, and keep upload that port to microcontroller. I'm sure that you will get a good result via this method. And just check it if you haven't uh, missed any semicolon, you haven't put any space, if space, because this is a C and embedded C in Arduino IDE. So all the spaces, all the semicolons will be counted in whole code. So just don't use any unnecessary writings in this. And if there are any unnecessary writings over there, just remove that. Make your code very clean so that you should be able to understand your own code. It will be very precisely for your own benefit. And most things are port. Port should be selected all the time. If you haven't selected your port, then there should be no uploading or compiling there. Okay. So if there is any error still going on from your side, you can connect with me on my WhatsApp or LinkedIn. I'll be open to it.
Yeah, thank you, Mahek. So this is it for the demonstration part. So we have discussed essentially 4 case studies: DHT11, then separately K-type thermocouple, and then DHT11 combined with the K-type thermocouple, and all are 2 ways of data communication. One which is related to serial monitor, it means in your own PC, and then we have stream it to the Wi-Fi cloud through the Wi-Fi, or say through internet, right? So next Sunday, we'll discuss the how much amount of data can be captured from the foundry. We'll take that as our case study, and how the data was collected, how the data was pre-processed, similar to this. But it is a combination of 2 kinds of data. One which is related to the data coming from sensors, and another one is data coming from manual intervention. So how the data was collected, how the data was pre-processed, and send it for the further purpose. So we'll try to discuss that aspect into the next time. Then again, we'll after the few lectures, 1 or 2 lecture, again we'll go into the demonstration what we have discussed about the prediction and all, and we'll also try to discuss the Raspberry Pi board, Raspberry board, in place of this ESP32. Will change the microcontroller board, but then we'll directly streaming to the large number of parameters parallelly. So in that case, we'll discuss the case study related to wax injection press, in which the 4 temperature, power consumption, dwell time and the part counter all are combined into the one code, and how the actually the data is streaming to the server, that we will discuss. So by that, actually, I'm stopping over here. Thank you, Mahek, again for showing a nice demonstration. I hope this will clear your fundamentals about this. And those who are actually started to work with this microcontroller and sensors and all, feel free to discuss anytime whenever you are facing any kind of error. We are happy to solve, and by that actually we will also come to know that different types of error which are likely to come while actually solving the problems, right? So thank you everyone for sparing the time and having patience in listening. So thank you, Mike. Thank you everyone. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.